To back up a database, we can start the process in Management Studio. Now, the backup is performed at the database level, so we right-click on the database and select Backup. Now here we have a user interface to perform this task, but note that, like we can with most things in Management Studio, we can script the action, which means that we can place it in an XMLA script that we can execute from the command line using the AS command executable, or we could put this into an integration services package using an execute DDL task, or we can simply run the script from a SQL Server agent job. So there's multiple ways that we can set this back up to run, but I'm going to show you how to run this from the user interface. So we have the database that we're going to back up, and it saves to an ABF file. You can set the option here to allow the file to overwrite, so that if you're going to repeat the backup using the same backup name each time, you would want to select this option. Notice also that there's an option here to compress the file, and also you have the option to encrypt the file and supply a password so that if anyone were to obtain the backup, they would not be able to restore it to another analysis services database unless they had that password. And there's a reminder down here letting you know that when you do a backup, the storage mode determines what information is saved in the backup. We can click OK here. So of course you want to provide a strong password here and then click OK to save the backup. Now when you need to restore the file, there is the reverse procedure where you can right-click and select Restore, and you can navigate to the location of the backup, and by default that's going to be in the Program Files, Microsoft SQL Server, the instance name, OLAP, backup folder here. And that's where you're going to find this ABF file. So in this case, this is the file we're looking for. We click OK. You can actually restore this as a separate name. And you can even specify an alternate storage location. Now, if the database exists already, you can overwrite that. And you can also decide whether or not to include the roles that are defined in the source database or to exclude that information here. And of course, if you had saved this backup with a password, you'll need that in order to restore it. Notice also that there's a partitions page where you're prompted whether to restore each partition to its original location, or you can spread those partitions out into alternate locations, whether you're putting them in different folders. So you can even store them in different folders and different drives. Now, of course, you can copy this ABF file from that location in the OLAP backup folder and move those files to another server where you have analysis services installed and restore this database on as many different servers as you need if you need to move this onto other servers for a scale-out solution.